patents about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
It's not college basketball. It's clobbering time. Let's get ready to rumble. Feel the fire, sense of the rare. It's nice and only know how to wear.
What is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Friday Night. I'm one of your two hosts, I'm Chuck.
I'm Double A, everyone.
That's Adam and Team Adam, guys. Double A, how the hell are you, bud?
Doing good.
Good. Guys, we had a little bit of technical difficulties coming into the show. Can you hear us? I think you can see us. The sound may not sound as good as our fancy mic on loan from the Collecting Weekly guys is not working. We're not sure, so let us know how the audio is.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah,
all
Steve,
right.
Toy Mafia, if you guys wouldn't mind letting us know. Cheers, Steve. Cheers tonight. Just some, I'll go for the moment, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can let us know how we sound.
Yeah, Toy Mafia, if you can let us know how we sound, we'd appreciate you guys. Jorogon there says, hey, Double A, the Enforcer and the Czech Express. Hey, there you go. And the Czech Express. Hey, we appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you guys. Jogron, am I saying that right? Jogron. Can you hear us okay? Do we sound okay? Again, we're without our normal mic.
Sound okay.
Yeah.
It's on. It's
okay, good.
Lane.
Good.
It's Lane.
All right.
I said it's Lane.
Oh, what's up, Lane? Lane the legend in the house. Yeah. Guys, real quick, I got a little something for Double A here. I wanted to show him this here. I know you were looking, Double A was looking for the superpowers version of the Green Lantern and told me that it was hard to find. And I found that one at a good price. It's a little bit bigger and more snazzy than I think that little one. But I know you're a GL guy. I picked up one for myself too because that's a good looking fig, right? Yeah, it's fun. Only thing I don't like, it doesn't come with the power battery. Is that what it's called, right? The power battery? Yeah, it's like one of the
kind of weak, right? That's the one thing you should.
The one thing you should have. And we think every Green Lantern figure has that. You know what I mean? So.
Shit, it looks badass though. Mark McFarlane did a badass.
I know. I personally like his figures a lot. I know some people have some issues with them, but yeah, it's very cool. It comes with like a little card too, trading card.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. It looks like it's this.
Yeah,
issue 1. So
is that from Rebirth or
the after Rebirth?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's Jeff Johns rebooted the whole thing.
When Hal comes back, whatever, and all that, right? Yeah, I know she doesn't have the. They got rid of the gray.
Oh yeah. That was Parallax. They did that.
That had always been Parallax.
Yeah, so bitch, you made him look older. And put some weakness in his head.
I'm gonna say, man,
that's what it was. How do we all feel when we see Gray coming out? Like I did. I was like, what the fuck? Like this started coming out like 2 years ago. I was like, man, I'm barely like 34.
We're losing our powers, right?
Fuck. I was just like Hal. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
You know what? The one villain that takes us all down.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but I was expecting it to be my 40s, not my 30s.
Yeah, I think mine came in my late 30s too, to be honest. I always was like, that's cool. I'll have the Dr. Strange Reed Richards streaks, you know what I mean?
Fucking cool.
Lane, appreciate you letting us know you can hear us. Badfish in the house. Badfish says, hey boys, making dinner. Hey, appreciate it. Badfish coming in despite dinner. Congrats to your Canadian team. Badfish up in Canada. They won in what was it? The hockey world?
I really don't know.
Okay.
I've never been a hockey fan, so but I know the US ain't that great. I know Canada is where it's at. Hockey.
I'm telling you, man. So congrats to we got many Canadian brothers via the CW side, so we appreciate that. And Trump office says that I think a thumbs up to they can hear us.
Lane is good.
Always good. Yeah, I can't go wrong with GL, man. Badfish says I also haven't seen the movie, so I'll need to watch once I do. But have a great show. Thank you so much, Badfish. We really appreciate that, brother. Last night's small talk was great. Zach and Dean joined on the small talk show, which is always a fun one, and I had some comments on there as well. So a lot of fun. Double A, how was your week? How were things?
It's cold. It's super cold. I work outside, so I was freezing my nuts off. I don't think I had any for like 3 days. So it's pretty bad, and it sucked when you need to pee. It's like, oh.
And if you guys know South Texas, where we're at in San Antonio, typically hot all the time. Yeah. So
but February has become like our cold month. This is like the month where it snows now, where it dips to the teens and to the 20s, and it's just I'm not used to it. I'm not.
It's definitely different.
I can work pretty good in the 50s, but man, 40 starts getting a little little kind of
little dicey, right?
The 30s, oh my gosh, again, the 20s. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Your pants feel cold. I was wearing like 4 layers of clothing and still wasn't no good. So.
I'm really happy now about the Christmas gift we got to at least another layer. But yeah, I feel you, man. I was like, I feel like our first freeze we got here, people were made more of a stink about that. And this one, I was like, it's going to drop to 20, and no one was really saying anything. No one reminded anyone to cover their pipes or anything.
I was shitting my pants, so I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And it's either that or I work in the warehouse, which the warehouse is also like a freezer. So it's like, you know, what am I going to be working, 20 or 40 degrees?
I know, man. Yeah. I feel like double A's either in one extreme or the other, and I'm like, either one for me is like.
I'm fine with the heat. I actually am fine with the heat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm better than doing it in the cold.
I wonder if most people that work outdoors agree. Like they'd rather work
because it feels like you can do more. Like, man, when you're cold, it's just like, damn, you're just trying to get out and get back, you know.
That's crazy.
Get back home.
Crazy. What about adrenalize me, double A? What about in the world of pop culture? Has there been any news or anything that's come out that made you kind of take a second look, that made you feel like there were things that were being talked about?
Well, the San Antonio's first star, Wemby, is out.
Yeah, so that's huge news for us.
I mean, the Spurs weren't going anywhere. We weren't making a run.
We had a big win last night, though, right?
We had a big win. We beat Phoenix. So that's great. All-Star, I heard mixed things about the All-Star. I heard it was, you know, whatever. I really don't care. I haven't been watching basketball.
Yeah. Basketball has unfortunately not been, I think, what it once was. Despite us having this megastar, you know, in Wembanyama, and
no, it's just the rest of the league. It's just it's a really bad time right now in basketball. Yeah. It's almost like when they talk about the '70s basketball. Mm-hmm. You know, when it was, you know, one person team, you know, in the '70s, it wasn't a lot of passing going around.
Right.
You know, it's just that's what it seems like right now.
Or even like you said too, I think one time me and you and your brother were talking, it was just kind of like there's like a lot of outside shooting, and I'm like, well, I mean, no offense to women's basketball, because you know, obviously people like Caitlin Clark make it great, but it's like these guys can dunk and they can,
like our guy,
dominate in the paint.
7'4", and he's like always on the outside. I'm like, man, like this dude should be having like Shaq numbers, like on the inside. You know, so
I'd be like powering in the paint.
Like, how's Chris Paul going there?
Right.
Man. Like, he should be averaging like 40 points and 20 rebounds.
When I first got into basketball, it was because I was amazed at the athleticism that the guys had, the things they could do with the ball. You know, which is what bothered me about that dunk contest, because this guy, the guy that won, used a lot of props, and I was like, well, his dunks weren't spectacular. They were just. He brought a car out, and a guy was spinning around.
And that's, I guess, what you have to do now. I guess you have to bring props, because it means
lame.
I mean, everyone's done everything.
But I thought that our guy Castle had some cool stuff where like you're manipulating your body with the ball. Like that's much harder to do. You know what I mean? I think even when
I've never been a fan of the dunk contest. I'm gonna be
really.
I've always been a fan of the skills challenge, the point contest, and the All-Star game, but I've never really been a fan of the dunk.
Yeah, basketball needs a little bit of a revamping, a retooling. I hope somebody maybe can do that. And again, I feel like it's almost become like a baseball with me, double A, where it's like, you know, and I will hope to see the Spurs in the playoffs the next couple of seasons, but I probably might not watch until playoffs.
I think honestly, just what turns a lot of people off too is just you hear about too much of the high demand and trade,
right?
Load management, you know, it's just kind of like
that's almost bigger news than the play.
It really is, because it's like for us, you know, it's like Charles Barkley said it. You know, he was like, there's steel workers out there. There's teachers out there. There's people that have to work on the outside, that have to work 5 days a week, and sometimes 7. They don't get to say, oh, you know what, I'm too tired to go on the next day.
Right.
You know, he's like, man, these guys play like 3, maybe 4 times a week, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the best medical care. You get to stay in the best hotels, the best medical staff.
Not dealing with what you just said, the elements. You're not dealing with the elements.
Man, like, you're millionaires. You're playing a game that you're really good at. That honestly, you're way better than a lot of the average Joes. But I mean, man, at the same time, you're making a really hell of a living to play 48 minutes. You know, it's like, man, just.
And how about this too, double A? You're playing a game that happens to have an international audience. There's lots of people probably good at lots of good games. There's people probably good at lacrosse. There's people probably good at rugby, but we're not really watching those sports. You're in a sport where people, the fans have anointed this sport to be watched internationally. It's like, come on, get let's show a little work ethic.
Yeah, man. Like I think that's really what a lot of times was turning people off, is that kind of like fucking attitude. Oh, I don't like it here. So
divas, right? They're like divas. When they're, you know, I mean, I hate to say it too. If people call him King James, but guys like LeBron, I feel like people talk about his era. I'm like, he kind of, to me, ushered the diva era, where people saw this guy whined because he got numbers. and then now they can whine and they got no reason. I'm like, man, what a legacy. That sucks. You know what I mean? You got a guy like Jordan that's legacy is like playing sick, and winning titles, leading teams, talking trash. You know, you're not buddies with the other guys. It's almost like the wrestling of old, where it was like they kept kayfabe versus like the wrestling now, where they're all over social media, and it's like I'm really just using this as a platform to get myself like an acting career or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys have just.
That's why wrestling is at its lowest point. That's why basketball is at its lowest point, because nobody just wants to believe in it.
Pedro Lopez in the house. It's hello. What's up, Pedro Lopez? I know this gal right there, Miss Halle Berry from Swordfish. Great one right there. Just for that. Yeah, excellent scene. I just want to run it down quickly. Double A. I had a great since Valentine's Day. We skipped Valentine's Day, guys, last week, so we're glad to be back. Rundown of watching stuff that's good. Number one, if you're not watching Severance on TV, start watching Severance. It's worth getting Apple. It's absolutely, I think, the best show on television right now. Adam Scott, you know him from Parks and Rec, and you know he's been in other things.
Step Brothers, a lot of things, but I mean he's usually that character actor, I guess is what they call him. Yeah.
But he is so great in this. It's obviously got to Patricia Arquette. What's our friend's name from the Jesus?
Oh, jeez. John
Turturro. Yeah, also fantastic. Christopher Walken. It is just amazing on Apple TV. I know not everybody has Apple, but getting Apple is worth it for Severance. So that, and obviously what we're going to talk about tonight, I got to go see with my dad, but we'll get to that. But also I got to see The Gorge on Apple, which is Miles Teller and
I like both of them, and it sucks. I'm like,
yeah, I'm going to help Double A get set up, guys. Don't worry. Before this weekend is done,
I will make it out. To see.
And it is really good.
I like Miles. I was just actually watching Bleed for this the other day.
Yeah. I watched that one based on your suggestion. It's great.
Did you like it?
I liked it. Okay, I did like it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Yeah. And him and Anya Taylor-Joy have great chemistry.
They're friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, oh,
yeah. And they're both very likable in this, and they're it's really a movie centered around them. I mean, because they're just not much of a cast except for them, and it's fun. It's a fun movie. The Gorge, again on Apple. I got to see the new Wolfman.
Okay.
We ended up paying like how you guys do the $20. Me and Jess watched it. My dad got to watch it. Yeah, from A24 Studios. Have you seen it?
Yes. No.
Okay.
I like the studio. I like A24.
Yeah, they do some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I was like, wow, this is like pretty good. Like it's like kind of like a straight up story, and it's a wolf story, and it's got the gal that's going to be the new. I guess she's going to be Shalabal. Yeah, I wanted to say Frankie Ray, but that's I want her to be Nova, but she's not. She's Silver Surfer, I guess, in the new thing. So Kara in the house says I want to see The Gorge. Yeah,
go to this guy's house.
There you go, Kara. Or get Apple TV for sure.
Or go to this guy's
so the new Wolfman is great too. If you guys get a chance to check it out, I don't think you need to go to the theater for it. I think it's
I think they're trying again with the Universal, but I do know that movie flopped though. So I don't know what it is. People just aren't into the classic monster anymore,
yeah,
honestly.
I was curious about that new one Frank Grillo came out with, werewolves.
Yeah, I love werewolves. I'm gonna see werewolf movies all day.
Yeah,
but it's weird when they kind of try to brand something. I don't know. It's just weird. The monster Nosferatu I know did well. Yeah, I know that was Robert Eggers' maybe his biggest movie.
Yeah, and I didn't love it. I like Wolfman way better.
I mean, they say he pretty much shot for shot it.
Okay,
the original,
which is basically Dracula.
Yeah,
you just don't. I don't know.
I'm gonna check it out this weekend because it's on.
It just came out,
Peacock,
right? Peacock, yeah. And I think an extended cut. So maybe if I watch that cut, it'll be
probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
Let's just say that what's his name? Skarsgård is no Gary Oldman.
Yeah. So. I mean, it sucks because I like him.
Yeah.
So
and I love Nicholas Hoult, and I love what's his name? Willem Dafoe obviously is the.
That's right. Well, Robert Eggers, that's his guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. His Lighthouse.
This guy.
What else did I get?
So I don't know. We talked about it. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Go.
Oh no, just The Substance, which I know you saw it already.
Oh yeah, that's right. You finally saw.
Super awesome.
Do you think though she should be winning the awards? Do you think she should?
Yeah, she's great.
I thought she's great. It's just it feels like one of those years where it's kind of like, well, give me more, and we kind of overlooked her before in the 80s, 90s. So
I guess who's she up against?
You know what I mean?
The Wicked.
I really don't even know who she's up against.
Did you see Wicked?
Yes, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Was it actually better than? Because I feel like they're gonna give them some stuff.
Like I feel like Demi wasn't in it a whole lot for her because she's doing it for best female, right? Or best female actor, right?
Not
even
supporting
right?
lead. I don't know. I don't know what the nomination
like Margaret was more in the movie.
Yeah,
than Demi more.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's why I was saying. Like, it feels weird that she's winning all these awards when it feels like it was Margaret Qualley.
Yeah,
that was in there more.
Dennis Quaid was a real dirtbag.
Yeah, he was
in his brief time in there.
I mean, it's just easy for guys to
be dirtbags.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, if somebody asked us to be dirtbags, I'm sure we can.
Hey, dirtbag? Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I think I did play a dirtbag one time when I was in my college radio, TV, film classes, and they were like, you're gonna play a bully, and I was like, you're gonna cast me as the bully. This is a bad casting.
It can work.
But then once I started, they were like, hey, take it easy on the guy. I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't know how far we were going.
What did Ed used to say? It's easy being sleazy.
It's easy being sleazy. Yeah. Our good friend Brian Eder Albert was there for some of that film work. The Substance, and then there was one more thing that I saw that I
remember you said it was some Valentine movie. Was it anything
like
that?
The Will Ferrell thing that you're cordially invited.
I don't know.
That was so. It was okay.
Oh, I thought it was some like horror Valentine movie.
The two horrors that we watched were we watched Speak No Evil. That was the other one.
Speak No Evil. Okay.
Great on Peacock.
They said
James McAvoy.
They said the overseas one is worse.
Really?
Like in terms of like not quality, but like the ending.
Oh, okay.
Horror.
Yeah, that was awesome.
More than this one.
Good ending. I thought that was a good death.
The other one,
I'll just do this. I love when I'm at the edge of my seat, and I felt at the edge of my seat. That's like me and Jess were like, "Holy fuck!" Like this guy is unhinged.
He does really good. How James McAvoy doesn't get nominated? Like I was surprised when he didn't get nominated for Split.
Yeah,
I was like, "Wow, really? You didn't give it to him? Why? Because it's a superhero movie? Like, come on."
Well, that's why people say The Substance might not get anything because it's a horror, and the horror genre does not win awards.
To me more so.
Right. But do you know of any horrors that have won like Oscars? I know sometimes
you have to probably go back to almost maybe the old days.
Yeah.
I mean, Francis Ford Coppola. No, nobody won. I mean, I know they want like costume and shit like that, but nothing like. Man, that's a good question.
I feel like, and that's what horror fans have said for years. They're like, awards don't recognize horror movies. So they were really behind with them winning some of the things. So that was pretty cool. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, I don't know what we talked about, but I know the Fantastic Four trailer came out. You know, everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I did see more Superman trailer. A little bit more. Obviously, everyone's hating on Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner, which I'm like, man, it's just the way the dickhead looks in the comics. So like, it's fine.
Yeah,
he's gonna watch. He's gonna be so fucking funny. Everyone's gonna forget about all this because Guy Gardner is just that asshole.
You know I hope so. I really hope so. I hope that they kind of hit it out the park.
The whole stupid look, it works for that character for some reason. I mean, obviously, he's not like that anymore in the comics. Like, he's just like a jock now,
right?
Right.
But I hadn't seen the extra trailer stuff yet, so I think so.
Just with the stupid face everyone's bitching about with him flying.
Yeah, I did see a guy though that did his own retouch, and I was like, wow, it just those little things made it that much better.
Amazon has the rights now to James Bond, and Bezos put out a poll who he'd like to see as Bond. He put like Idris Elba, Henry Cavill, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, we did talk about that, didn't we? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Craven, right?
Yeah. It was like two other ones.
Yeah, you know what?
They said the poll was like overwhelming that everyone wants Henry Cavill. And we had a discussion earlier in our group chat, and they're saying he's 41. I'm like, you know what? If Amazon does it right, if they don't do what they did with Daniel Craig, when they space out damn movies too long, because at one point, like Pierce was able to get 4 movies in about 8 years. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, like every 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, if Amazon moves and they get like at least 3 or 4 out of Cavill, I mean, even 3, I think will be all right. He'd still be good because, man, he Mission Impossible, he does really good in Mission Impossible.
Oh, he's great. Yeah,
he's got the look. I mean, he's big. He's got the charm. He's got the, the charisma.
But I gotta say, Double A, after what we saw in Craven, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's got
he would be good too.
He's English, I think, or Welsh. He's from there, the UK.
Yes.
He's fantastic, and you can probably get several.
You can get a lot of movies, but I'm afraid that again they're going to do like with Craig. I mean, Craig only did like, let me see, Casino, Quantum, Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die. About 5 movies in his almost 20-year run.
Yeah,
as
that's pretty
Bond.
crazy
Like,
after 20
wow.
years. Yeah. You would think that guy was Bond for 20 years. You only got 5 movies. You're not really getting.
Yeah, they fucking stick around so long.
Yeah,
with him,
yeah.
you know?
I would think that do you think they'll really go back old school and bring back gadgets and make it more fun?
Yeah.
Get away from the Daniel Craig kind of
See,
really
that's
serious.
what I thought it was gonna be, because they say it was gonna be a reboot.
Yeah.
So I thought they were gonna
Yeah.
show like Hugh Branch and all that shit. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, just people on Bond. I know those movies were big, but I mean, it was just stupid. I thought it was stupid for them to go in the direction that they did with Bond at the end. I'm like, that's not my favorite era whatsoever. In the whole Bond era, it's not.
Yeah. And what's funny is that like we're big Bond guys, and like I think we both haven't slept in the last one, right?
I'm refusing to see the last one just because I read what happened.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is stupid.
Yeah. I don't get it either.
And it's not a woman that took over. I'm not talking about that. I'm not even talking about the woman in 007. It's just what happens to the Bond character himself.
Right.
I'm like, wow. Like, he gets married again. And there's in the lore, he's only married the one time, and he refuses to do that again because of what happened to Teresa.
Yeah.
His wife.
Yeah.
It's like
crazy. It's crazy that how they take it all over the place with that. I feel like almost like they didn't really know what to do with Bond.
They didn't.
You need to find.
And it's stupid because people are trying to go too far. Just make a spy movie.
Yeah, make a spy movie.
Like, there's not that hard. Like, people are overthinking a lot of these fucking movies.
I gotta start saying this now because it's like I keep thinking like what Beau DeMayo was to X-Men '97. It's like go find a big Bond fan. Find someone that loves the franchise and
like
let
the guys
do it.
that love Karate Kid. They did such a great job with Cobra Kai.
Fantastic.
They respected the fucking lore. They made part 3 a really essential part that you have to actually go back and watch. I mean, they had perfect endings for all the characters. I mean, they did that right. Like you said, Beau DeMayo.
Yeah,
he did right with the X-Men. That's why the X-Men was such a big fucking breakout success last year.
Yeah,
it's like everyone wants to do something different, and just like, man, you're just getting away from the whole fucking process of what made it. Like Marvel keeps asking themselves why these movies are not hitting. Well, because you're going away from it again.
Right. You got to get back to the kind of the things that made it work. You know what I mean? So
like, it's not hard to please fucking men. It really isn't. If we're into comic books, just keep it comic book accurate. Wrestling, just keep it wrestling. You don't have to make it a soap opera.
Or like we say, the stories are there. Like when we talked about Preacher before, it's like they got so far from the excellent story that Preacher is in the book, and it's like, what they gave us in to me, in my mind, I was like, if this is not Preacher, or if I was watching this and this is my first exposure, it's okay, but it's not great like the books are. You know what I mean? So look at what's going on with Invincible. Speaking of things that are back, Invincible's back, whatever. And like literally, my nephew has been telling me he's been kind of looking at videos, seeing how it compares to the comic book, and that it's pretty much almost like they're.
But even if it wasn't, look what they did with The Walking Dead though. They made it so good those first few seasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where it was like, man, that was the must-see TV show, along with Game of Thrones at that time. I mean, they were competing,
no doubt,
at one point. What was the better show? What was the fucking water cooler talk? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's not that hard. Just stick to the material. Make Bond, just give Bond, have an assignment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make him suave.
Yeah.
People like him fucking chicks. People like him with the gadgets. I mean, it's true. Honestly, let's not pretend like it's not. Like, man, like the things that there's a reason why after 50, 60 years that Sean Connery is still voted the best Bond of all time. I mean, like it's just the way he was. He was rugged.
The plots of those aren't that deep.
They're not. He's fighting a terrorist organization. It's like G.I. Joe, Cobra.
He has some drinks. He hooks up. There's usually some action. Hard. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like they're fun. Like again, it's like we've kind of stopped having fun.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, man, we need to do this. We need to have a female in this one. We need to have this guy in this one.
It's got to be more based in reality. It's got to be more dark. It's got to be like a political message. I'm like
man, like you have the audience. You're trying to make more movies of these. You're trying to make money. Just stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, like Casino was fun. Casino Royale was fun. When we first saw Craig, we were kind of like, "Oh, damn, he blew us out of the water." Like it was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like the flint instrument. You know what I mean? And all that. I was like, all right, this is cool. But yeah, they just got away from it. So
it's stupid. It's like, man, it's like they're just overthinking this shit too much. I mean, there's nothing to overthink.
And I especially think with a character like that, the way that comes from such like a storied, property, a storied, IP that you've got to get someone that loves that character, is in touch with that character, is in tune with that character. He's not PC. He's just like a hardened spy, a former Navy guy, and he's like,
It's like I said to you, the Mission Impossible movies are almost the same formula.
Yeah.
Like they stick to it because it makes money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somewhere along the way, the government always thinks he's a fucking traitor. He has to go and clear his name. He does these wild ass fucking stunts, And
he runs. You gotta have.
He runs a lot.
Ethan's gotta run,
and he always gets back at the end. And it's like, again, the next mission comes, they think he's a fucking traitor all over again. It's like, damn,
yeah,
man. Ethan was. I would just be like, I'm retiring.
Yeah,
I'm on your good side right now. I'm retiring.
Hey, but when I saw the last one in theaters, I was like, damn, this shit has some great fucking action sequences. Like, I was saying, badass.
Tom Cruise knows, what his audience wants.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably come to him and they're like, well, why don't we have this happen, Ethan? And he's like, we're not gonna do that. No, let's just have me running down some long thing, and then we'll shoot it out, and then big fucking action sequence, and then call it a day. Works for us. You know what I mean? Double A mentioned it too. Cobra Kai is back and done now, so it's all out there. We won't bury the lead. We're probably going to cover that next week, so we'll be talking Cobra Kai. I cannot wait.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I feel like one of these rare shows that has like a perfect ending and wrapped
really
up well.
Did. I've seen it like maybe 3 times.
Yeah,
the last three of them.
Yeah,
I probably watched it like over and over and over.
I was cheering out loud. I was
crying.
Jumping up out of my seat. I was crying.
I know which part too.
And it was great. It was great to feel that way. And it's so funny because I didn't think I'd see something like that since I saw that really poetic ending to Superman and Lois that I thought was just perfect. And I was like, wow, this was
finished 4 of those.
Okay, great. You're almost there. And this was in that same vein where I was like, wow, this is just perfect. What a good way for all of them.
It really was, honestly. It was.
And then really cool in real life, right? Robbie and Sam getting married, Mary Mauser and what's his name?
Tanner Buchanan.
Tanner Buchanan. Yeah, congratulations to them. So that's really cool. Well, let's get right into it. Double A, this is what we're here for tonight. We're here to talk about to you guys Captain America Brave New World.
And again, this wasn't like we're just thinking, we both like it. Obviously, we'll talk about it because we weren't sure. I mean, I was all in for it.
Yeah,
I was like, Harrison Ford's in it. He's Captain America now. He's taking over from the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I was like, well, all right.
What struck me, Double A, was that first off, I was kind of thinking this wasn't going to be one you were going to go watch.
Really?
But yeah, because I know it's a Marvel thing, whatever. But I mean, I know we covered Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I just didn't think that you were going to be like that into,
Anthony Mackie.
Well, not Anthony Mackie, but the version of the Sam Wilson version of Captain America.
No, I've always been okay because I mean it's been Falcon and Captain America and Falcon for a long fucking time already.
Oh yeah, they've been together forever, man. Captain America and Falcon, they're badass. It's a badass duo.
And obviously Chris Evans was never going to play this character for 20 years.
Right.
I mean, he just wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I mean, it just it made sense. Obviously Sam's not enhanced, so that kind of sucks on his part. Which he mentions it several times during the movie,
which is cool. Like he doesn't stray away from that, right? And guys, just so y'all know, this is going to be a spoiler-filled. I don't have the banner up, but it's going to be a spoiler episode. So if you're listening right now or you're watching and you don't want spoilers for Captain America: Brave New World, you're going to wait till it's maybe free or on Disney or whatever. Step away now and come back later because we are going to say spoilers. We're going to talk about it. Not that you probably didn't see a lot in the trailers and probably can't guess. You know what I mean? But yeah, so
and then I've always just enjoyed the Cap movies. I've always said that's been the best movies, and this one still I think really continued in that vein.
It's ranked 4 in the Cap movies for sure, but it's still
it wasn't like fucking weak link. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, the Thor movies, like the 3. I mean, I really enjoyed the first one because that was more like Thor.
Yeah,
and I know that's one people don't like. People like Ragnarok, and I'm like, I did not like Ragnarok.
Well, I like Dark World a lot. Me and my sister like Dark World because it's like the sibling story.
I can't even tell you Dark World was about. really. I saw it, but I can't even
Yeah.
tell you.
And it's funny because it's like universally hated as like the worst
That's
Thor
the
movie,
worst
and I'm like,
one,
wow. I'm like,
And then Love and Thunder. I mean, Christian Bale. It started off really good,
Mhm.
and then just he just started getting
Yeah.
comedy shit all over.
Yeah.
But the cancer part was pretty heartbreaking.
Christian Bale pulled. Yes, that was, and
Yeah.
I loved Natalie Portman as Jane. But you're right. Christian Bale pulled in that movie, Love and Thunder, a fucking Franklin Jella as Skeletor, where I was like, he's giving a bomb ass performance, but I'm like, it's like wasted. Like we're like, wow,
It really was.
I'm like, wow, thanks, Christian Bale. You were fucking amazing as Gore, the God Killer. Just for it to be like, you know what I mean?
It really was because I was invested in that beginning when that God is telling him like you're nobody. There is no afterlife. There's nothing.
Yeah.
He's like what? Like God's all just keep praying. Keep praying to me.
Yeah, but you've been worshiping you, and you're like treating me like this. Yeah. What's up, Mr. Ellis? Though,
Hey,
we
what's up,
appreciate
Ellis?
you being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for dropping in. But yeah, so like in the Iron Man movies 2 and 3, I just didn't like.
Mhm.
The Ant-Man movies are, I mean, okay.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah.
Guardians, I love 1. 2's good. The third one, I did not get off to the third one whatsoever.
Yeah.
Guardians.
I feel like when I think about it, and Mr. Ellis, if you're still here with us, tell us, did you watch Brave New World? Did you take the kiddos to go see it? And if so, what did they think? I know you got the girls and the boys, or girls and boys, but either way, but like, what did they think? Like, let us know. Because my nephew bailed. He was like, he's like, I'm not that into it. He's like, it looks cool, but I think he's thinking like, I'll watch it at home.
I mean, Red Hulk,
right? Yeah, no, he was kind of enticed, but then he just was like, no,
you think he would have liked it after seeing
Yes, I told him. I said you would have liked it.
Okay.
I said you would have liked it. And here's the thing too: is like we're talking right, like any one of these movies we talked about. If he was like, "Hey, I want to watch the Ant-Man," I'd say, "Okay," because I did not hate them or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're not bad.
But it's funny, right? Because people talk about like that whole first run, like those are all A+.
I know
movies,
they can't be
and
touched, and I'm like, oh, it's not the original Star Wars trilogy now.
Like I'm like, wow, there's
a
a few of them that were like, not that great.
I don't think I've seen the second Iron Man, and I definitely haven't seen the third one. Probably since I first saw it.
There's parts in all those movies that I like
are okay.
Holes?
Yeah, no. And let me tell you, anyone that is a fan of the Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton one, this is going to be a movie for you.
And I did. I really enjoyed it.
I love that movie. Yeah. Arella says we had plans, but they ditched me for their friends out. Okay, well, it's not too late. It's not too late to take a new weekend is here. She says, but we're all excited to see it soon, hopefully. Okay, well, if you want to avoid spoilers, Mr. Ellis, you may want to check out. But I would be eager to hear their thoughts and your thoughts on the movie as well. So yeah, for me, this is something I thought we would end up going together because I thought we were going to both be like how we end up kind of out on our own sometimes.
So I knew Saturday I was going to see it, and we had a Valentine's dinner at Saturday. So I knew an afternoon showing was not going to be. We ended up eating at Fogo de Chao.
Oh, how was that?
Like the 2 o'clock hour.
Your first time?
No, it was my second time, but it was delicious.
I've never been to Fogo, but I've been to
the first time post COVID.
Okay.
We went kind of like during COVID when it was still kind of with the mask and everything. Yeah. It was the bar was closed off.
Yeah.
So this time when we had the full
you gotta have that salad bar.
Yeah, I did. Good. I did.
So, you know what? We're getting downtown, Chamagaucha, which is like the other Brazilian steakhouse. Yeah, I think it's Chamagaucha, Fogo de Chao, and Texas de Brazil. I've only been to Texas de Brazil downtown, which work took me. But I mean, from what I understand, they're kind of similar.
Fogo de Chao's good. Okay. You will like it.
I'm down. You went to the downtown one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and my brother went to the 9:30 showing. 9:30 actually had a 9:30 a.m. showing to the Quarry. So
you and your brother?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the other thing that shocked me about your story, that you're like, oh, my brother wants to go see it, which your brother Art hasn't seen or Friday Night or Boy. He hasn't seen what was the last time he saw a Marvel movie?
I can't remember
because he told me too. He's like, I just got behind. I haven't watched.
So my brother was a big fan of the Truth series.
Didn't we cover the series though?
I don't think we have.
Oh, I thought we had an episode on this.
I don't. Maybe we did.
I think we did. Yeah.
Well, anyways, my brother's the one that bought this series when it first came out. Like, it's weird. See him? I told him, I was like, you really don't buy comics a lot, but when you did, you bought the Hush story.
Yeah.
You bought Truth. You bought the Green Lantern Rebirth series. Like, those are all like major stories.
Yeah. Like he was pretty in tune.
Had gone on to become like really big time, like legendary story arc. So when I told him that Isaiah was actually in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was going to be in this movie, he got super excited about it. He was like, man. And then I told him, and then Harrison Ford, he's going to be Ross.
Yeah.
Which he was like, oh man. So like my brother loves Harrison Ford. I mean, who doesn't? But he loves Harrison Ford. So So he was like, that pretty much is what got him. And you know, I mean, it was an experience too. Like he said, he hadn't been to a Marvel movie in a while, and he really doesn't go to movies. So sometimes when he does go see a movie, you know, he's like, oh, you know, that'd be cool, yeah. And man, they had a lot of cool shit. They had the Cap bucket with the shield. They had like a Red Hulk, like kind of like thing, and a pillow. And man, there was like a lot of cool shit.
Oh, what theater did you go to?
The Court.
Oh, the Court. Okay. Yeah. Me and my dad ended up just being me and my dad because he really wanted to see Red Hulk. We ended up going to the Live Oak Theater or whatever. And I was actually shocked too. Remember how I kept telling you these kind of things keep selling out? Mm-hmm. They had it all there. He bought everything. He was like, I want that red bucket.
You could have just come into the quarry and just bought something. You could have just walked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So that I was like, wow.
That's how Live Oak was too. They had them set out and they had them like behind the counter. But my dad was like, I want the Red Hulk bucket. Then he got the bucket that had the wings or whatever. And he bought the metal one with the 2 cups.
Holy
he went nuts. I was like, Dad, do we need all that? He's like, yeah, badass.
I mean, they can do it.
Okay.
You know,
he's retired now. So he's trying to get, I guess, the most out of it. But it was actually kind of nice too. Like, and I'm sure maybe it was for you and your bro when the last time you guys saw a movie by yourselves together.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And I told my dad the same thing. I said, hey, this is kind of nice. I was like, not that I miss my nephew being there. But
I know what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, it was cool, like you said, and you know, we went, we saw it. He enjoyed it. He thought it was a really good movie. He liked Anthony Mackie. He loved Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
He thought the dude playing Isaiah was really good, which I'm getting his name right now.
Yeah, he's really great. If you can,
Joaquin Torres, Danny Ramirez was fucking hilarious.
Awesome. I was so in love with the new Falcon, the Mexican Falcon. I hope Mexican Falcon gets to become Mexican Cap. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, he's great. Yeah. And, so charming. And I thought Mackie, remember what we said? It's like, man, Mackie was so charming in Twisted Metal that I was like, man, why isn't he like this in the Marvel movies? But I don't think he really had the space. No. He had a lot more space in this.
When you give Anthony Mackie room, he can do it.
Yes. And I was really proud of it, man. And I thought he was awesome. But fuck all that shit people said about his comments before or whatever. I was like, hey, he misconstrued all that. That's, you know what I mean? Like you don't know enough about Cap than to really say that people were kind of saying he was making like anti-American comments or whatever. And I was like, that's.
But you know what? Even that has been played out in the comics too. There was a time in the 70s or 80s where they wrote Cap where he was disillusioned with America during the Nixon era, during the Ford era. There's comics from the 70s where he's like, he gives up the Cap suit, where he's like, I can't be Captain America anymore because this America is not what I believe in. Yeah. And he was saying that shit back in the 70s. Okay. And
very poignant.
And then that's when he got the John Walker dude to come in. And for a while, Cap was Nomad. I believe it was. That's and then he became like U.S. agent. It was like a kind of a little bit before he put on the suit again. But they wrote this before. It's not like a big fucking thing. You just have to go back into Cap's history where he's had disillusionments with the U.S. government, with the ideals of America.
And again, too, look at it the same thing like with Superman or whatever, right? Truth, justice, the American way.
Went away.
People were sad about that, but you know, I like the new one. I almost like the new one better. Truth, justice, and the better tomorrow.
Because Superman should never have been America, as powerful as that. Because in the comics, he's the reason why aliens start coming. In the Legion of Superheroes, he becomes like the point factor where he's not just he becomes like almost a world leader, and then he becomes like a universal leader. Like we can work with you, bring aliens in from all species.
Cool, and then just live on Earth.
Yes, like it becomes like a big fucking thing. And then Superman's responsible for hosting kind of other worlds, to where it becomes like a big old kind of federation too.
It's like being at the Mos Eisley Cantina. Like
so I mean, like Superman should never have been just an American kind of figure. As someone as powerful as him, you would think Superman is going to go stop a volcano in China, stop a bomb in Korea, go to Africa, stop whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's not just going to be patrolling America, the whole fucking time.
And that's why it comes up all the time, even in things like The Watchmen, right? Where it's like, you know, Dr. Manhattan. You know, I said God is real. And he's American. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, and you have to ask yourself, see, this is the thing what makes these guys superheroes is because they question the establishment and they say, yeah, it's fine to say like I'm Captain America, but you know, there's that. I love that pet one. I don't know where it's from, but it's him holding the flag and he's touching the flag and he says, General, I'm only loyal to one thing, and that's the dream, meaning the American dream of what it's supposed to be. What it's supposed to be. And that's the same thing with Superman. Superman represents an ideal of what the very best versions of ourselves.
But yeah, there has been comics, and you got to look at it during, I guess, the Nixon years, more or less, that that's where they wrote Steve, questioning, what America was really about. So I mean, it's not the first fucking time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You got to think. You got to look deeper. Everyone, look deeper. Even when you say, "Oh man," again, not to get political, but when you left and right, well, there's things wrong with both. But these guys, they represent where you want to be, the perfect balance of all things. So you know what I mean. Again, too, they're not on either side. They represent, an ideal. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So he comes in. He's already kind of established as Captain America already. He's got the badass suit. He's got the Wakanda. The Wakanda has made him kind of like an armor.
That was so awesome, man. I loved that. Nope. Here we go. We got a comment here. Are we good? But yeah, no, like Double A was saying, that's great that they had him bring in the Ghost Tab is in here. He says, but Captain America took years to get there. You can't dismiss America.
They brought him back in the comics movie. Like in the 64, and then by the 70s they wrote him like that already.
Yeah. No, interesting.
And honestly, it wasn't really even that bad. It's just him and Ross, they kind of establish it. Like they don't like each other.
Right.
Right. I mean, if you see the William Hurt part in Civil War, he shuts down the Avengers.
We talked about that a lot, right? He really gets in Cap's ass and all the Avengers' asses, where it's like, you guys fucking fucked up, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, okay.
Honestly, I didn't really see that big of a thing in this movie. It was more like,
I think it was
Ross.
Yeah,
he really is. He's like, okay, cool. We can make like the world thing happen with the Celestial. They bring in the Celestial from the Eternals movie. Yeah. So that Celestial is made out of adamantium, which is kind of cool. They finally mentioned adamantium,
very cool,
which they say is stronger than vibranium.
Right.
So obviously, all the world's would want a piece of it, and that would be true. If some shit like that happened, all the world's leaders would say, "Well, this is in our territory. Yeah, right. This is in our territory." Blah, blah, blah.
But I think he's in the Indian Ocean, right? Some shit. Yeah. So I don't know if it's like joint waters or whatever.
But everybody will want a piece of it.
Yeah. And the first one I think that minds some is the Japanese or whatever, right?
They're trying to, I believe. Okay. I don't think they can, or they got a little piece of it.
Yeah, that little canister or whatever.
Yeah. So so he's asking him to kind of be like the focal point of America, to be the goodwill ambassador to all the nations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To show that the President, Cap, the Avengers, they're going to be like a world team,
Yeah. So you see Ross is kind of wanting to play ball with Cap. He's kind of almost like at first he's kind of like, I know we had our differences, this and that, but, of course, Cap being Cap, and the Sam Wilson Cap even is kind of like, hey, man, like, when Isaiah Bradley, one of the original, and again, you got to go back and kind of see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but know this, he's like one of the original Captain Americas that they experimented on, things like that. Almost going back.
He's the one that worked. He's that one guy that the serum worked on.
Yeah. And you're kind of going back to some of the things like, in real life, that, like the Tuskegee experiments and things like that. So, it's when he kind of goes off too, and Ross gets attacked by several people at this conference talking about the adamantium. Isaiah is one of them, and
what you hear is like music is playing.
Yeah,
it's triggering them.
Right.
Or it was
Manchurian Candidate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which the Korean War, which he was very much a part of.
Yeah, and also too, we've seen this before with Bucky Barnes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Winter Soldier.
So Sam is adept. He sees this going on or whatever, right?
But real quick, the adamantium becomes like a big point. He gets it back. They try saying that there's an American. They say Ross was really the one he's the one that stole it, or he was going to be the one buying it back. It was going to start a war between the U.S. and China, and it was like very important. Japan. It was very important that they understood. No, that's not what it was. So it's kind of like they're trying to hold off because it's real testy. It gets real fucking testy.
Yeah,
because he has some background information about Ross, which he really don't say until like the very end of what's going on.
Yeah, and there's several kind of misdirections.
So it's kind of like, man, they're trying to balance it out so the world powers won't fight with each other. It won't start World War III.
Right.
And this Celestial is kind of being like the big elephant in the room that it's kind of like, man, you got to tread lightly, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when he goes into more. They're already blaming Ross for it, and then when the assassination attempts happen, it really sets off again, you know, the whole, you know, who were the assassins and why were they trying to kill Ross?
Right.
All that.
And this is why Sam is really concerned too, though, is because obviously like, Isaiah's involved and he knows Isaiah to be a good man. And
I mean, because he tried to stay quiet. Like he had been locked up for 30 years and he was like, I'm just trying to mind my own business. I'm free. I'm out here.
Right.
Still very much with the super soldier serum in him, but he's like, I'm not doing shit. They sent me on a mission to go get the Winter Soldier. I beat his ass. And when I came back, it was 30 years in prison. So he's like, I'm staying out of it. But Sammy's like real insistent. No, you should come. You know, so
yeah. Ghost Step has an interesting comment here too that I heard more than once.
The movie felt more like yes, it kind of was, or a redo. No, not a redo of the Winter Soldier.
No, I think it had elements in the sense that it was like an espionage flick. It felt fun.
It felt Ghost. What is it? Ghost
Town.
It felt more like kind of like it's kind of tying up loose ends, like of what was kind of going on with the Hulk. It tied some of those up, and then it's kind of putting Ross still in the picture, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that if you were if you were a fan of the
Edward Norton, it feels like it's a good start off for like the whole thing to start again.
Yeah, absolutely. I walked out feeling like, and my dad loved it. You know what I mean? I walked out feeling like, like Marvel's back. You know what I mean? Like we know we're only going to get 3 movies this year. We already know what they are. We've got this one. We're going to get Thunderbolts, I think, in the summer, and then at the end we're going to get the Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah. It's Thunderbolts and then Fantastic Four in June or July.
Yeah, and then that'll be it. So like the back half of the year, we're not going to have anything, which is fine because it's like we can make some tight, concise movies, and I think this could have gone a lot of ways. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, you're going to feel really good about this one because you're going to be like, oh damn, they, And again, spoiler alert, if you guys have not seen it, so we're going to go all in. Yeah, what happens with Samuel Stearns, you know what I mean? And the leader. Hulk, the leader is introduced, you know what I mean? And yes,
find out what him and Ross are doing.
Yeah. And yes, Giancarlo Esposito's there. I heard some people critical of like that he was kind of there, but he wasn't like, who was he? And he just was
because like Marvel. This is the thing with Marvel. They we just talked about it actually with Christian Bale. They kind of get these big name actors and they kind of give them shitty roles. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, I liked him in this role, but still, it's kind of like, man, this is the role you're giving him.
It was too small for him. They could have used him in a much better way. Because we've heard him attached to Professor X. We've heard him attached to Magneto. We've heard him attached to Dr. Doom. You know what I mean? Giancarlo Esposito could have pulled off any one of those greatly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
you could have had anybody do the role that he did, basically, right? You could have got some B.
He did good. He did good for the role that he had. He did really good. He made the movie strong too, with his little parts that he was in. But it's a really good lick, and like I said, it kind of tells you, I guess, because they had never really mentioned Ross being kind of fucked up though, right? I mean, obviously William Hurt looked sick, obviously because he had cancer in real life, but I don't remember them ever saying.
No, they never really say anything.
So like Ross ends up having kind of like a heart issue where he was close to dying.
Yeah.
So his whole connection is he remembers Samuel Stearns, leader. Mm-hmm. So he promised his leader, look, if you help me get better, I'll get you out. We'll get the gamma radiation out of your blood. We have the team that can turn you back to Samuel Stearns, and you'll get a pardon, right? For helping Bruce. I guess that was his crime.
Yeah.
For helping Bruce.
Yeah.
And so he starts giving Ross pills that are kind of laced with gamma radiation.
Pumping him up.
But then he starts noticing that Ross is not kind of living up to his end of the deal.
Yeah.
And so he starts upping up the gamma radiation more and more.
Right.
Where he's gonna start turning whenever it gets too intense for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a couple of times where like, man, Harrison Ford does a really good job, kind of like where there's times when he's being overwhelmed with so much news where he's getting mad and or not mad, just like kind of like bug, like kind of like panicky almost. And he starts kind of like,
yeah, and you're like, what's going on here? I mean, because I mean, obviously the trailers told us, and they didn't hide from the fact that we're going to get Red Hulk, right? I think we all knew that we weren't going to get him. Yeah. We didn't know we were going to get him right at the beginning, right at the when we were going to get him in the movie. So we're like, okay, Red Hulk is out. When is he going to?
When is he going
to come? And how is it going to happen? So there's that they're playing with, and you're like, oh shit, is this going to be the Hulk out? Is this going to be the Hulk out? And so you're kind of like waiting to see, and then to understand too why, like how the hell did Ross become a Red Hulk? So they're kind of going through explaining all that, and then there's like I like it too because there was layers, right? You had the Samuel Stearns part, and you had obviously the Giancarlo Esposito role,
and obviously they're trying to find out how Isaiah, snapped, like he did, so it's kind of all that. And then they introduce another kind of a Black Widow.
Yes, she's Ross's like head of security, and we find out that she's former part of the Red Room and all that.
Trying to find her
real quick here, I'm going to read Gustav's comment. I like that Gustav, like it's like Gustav.
Oh,
Gustav.
okay.
He says here, where did they form a team called the Thunderbolts, named after a former president that's in jail for being a world threat? Which is interesting, right? Because I know before I saw this movie in theaters, I got to see the trailer for Thunderbolts, and it's got the asterisk, and I kept wondering, I was like, why is there an asterisk or whatever? And you even hear Bucky in the trailer say, we can't call ourselves that, and I wonder if maybe they're addressing what you're saying here, Gustav, is that they were going to be maybe they were going to call themselves the Thunderbolts, then the things happened with Ross, and they're like, great, kind of lost our name, you know what I mean? So
Ruth Bath Seraph. Ruth Bath,
who apparently is in the comics, from what I understood, is what people were saying. That and she was an interesting character.
Okay, yeah.
So
okay,
yeah, she kind of helps the new Falcon and helps the new Cap, Sam Wilson.
Yeah, because she's like
with the investigation.
Well, she sees the dude snap one of the soldiers. Remember, he snaps and kills almost all the assassinate. I'm sorry.
The people that were
attempting to assassinate.
Attempted assassins.
She sees him just go off killing like all of them, and then he's almost going to go to Isaiah. So he's like, holy shit,
Pedro Lopez makes a good point here too. He says they set up Sidewinder. That's the Giancarlo forget Sidewinder and the rest of the Serpent Society for the sequel. Yeah, which me and Double A I talked about. We knew, and I think everyone had kind of heard.
I mean, that's cool. It's just it's like with Giancarlo, you want him to get a beefier role. Yeah, like where he comes out in all the other kind of flicks, heavy. This is kind of like, man, this is like one of like Cap's kind of like. I mean, it's a rogue villain, but still, it's kind of like it's more Cap.
Again, too, I think they kind of put Red Hulk in with Anthony Mackie because it's a little bit.
I mean, it fits so with Ross because as each movie is going, he's getting higher and higher in his position.
Right.
I think by Civil War, he's like Secretary of Defense or some shit like that. So
yeah. So we see him on that path.
Now, I did see people saying like, "How the hell is Bucky running for Congress with all his Winter Soldier shit?"
No shit. Right? I was like, "Yeah, man, they'll just put anybody in office, right?"
So that was funny.
Yeah,
and that part that he came out.
It makes me wonder what happens to him too, right? Because obviously we see him running around with the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So like, did the election not go well for Bucky? Maybe people brought up the Winter Soldier shit and were like, you know what, this guy can't be in office, Let me see here real quick. Let's see. Oh, Gustav says, I saw the Black Widow and the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. She stood up for being so short. Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, so there's enough intersecting things I think here that
it's kind of cool. They introduce the Black Widow again. Ross having the leader kind of like saving him. That was like, ooh, you should have known better than that,
right?
And
very Hulk-esque, you know what I mean, right? Because you've got a Hulk villain in the leader. You've got Red Hulk, I guess you would consider.
It's really cool because the leader can do those kind of things. Like his intelligence, I think he has telepathic powers in the comics. The leader is a really dangerous villain.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why he survived for so long.
And what's the gentleman's name that plays him?
Tim Blake.
Tim Blake Nelson, who's fantastic, right? I mean, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, The Watchmen show, Tim Blake Nelson. He's just got. I think he has a lot of range. Oh Brother War there. He can be, this kind of like swirly, like conspiracy theorist type, or he can be, this Western guy, or he can be, Samuel Stearns, the leader. So getting him back all the way from the Edward Norton.
That was cool. I bet he never thought he would ever come back.
Right. Yeah. And he was really good too. He was very, diabolical. So it's like at this point too, think Double A, like, well, we've seen Zemo, we've seen the leader, we've seen, and like when me and Double A were saying, it's like, in all honesty, in my opinion, personally, Cap does not have like the greatest rogues gallery. So you kind of had to let's play with some other toys in the
stuff has
Marvel
always
toy box.
they kind of like politically charged.
Yeah.
In comics.
And again, I think there's because Cap is a character that will always walk that line where it's like, yes, I'm Captain America, and yes, this is my country, and I want to, but it doesn't necessarily mean I serve the powers that be, because what if the powers that be are not doing what's best for the country?
And the movies have always done a good job of doing that, because like once Cap's like in the team mode, that's when like Cap's like full on Captain America leader.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when he's like leading an army.
Yeah,
that's where you get Infinity Gauntlet.
Right,
like that Secret Wars where people want to follow him.
Yeah, look at
his
Civil
side
War.
missions. Yeah, on his side missions, this is kind of what he does.
In Civil War, in the comic books, it's like, I mean, in a sense, Cap goes rogue with it, right? It's Tony Stark who's the top cop.
Yeah, he doesn't like,
and
what's
he's
going
like,
on.
no, man, this is an invasion of civil liberties. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out. You know what I mean? So, he's again. That's why they're on separate sides. You kind of have the same thing happen in the movies with the Sokovia Accords, where Cap's like, this isn't you. We're not going to be your police, you know what I mean? Like doing meeting your agendas, right? Because if the powers that be are saying, hey, these people are bad, these people are not, go here and run this freaking Black Ops mission. It's like, hold on, man, we're not your hit squad. We're the fucking Avengers, you know what I mean? So Cap ain't going to play that shit. So there's it's a little bit, I like it because a little bit of checks and balances, right? It's like, hey,
cool.
You know what I mean? You're doing your thing, whatever, and I thought it ramped up well. The movie had good pacing. What was it runtime?
2 hours.
It didn't feel like it to me. It was good.
It felt good. It felt good.
It felt really good.
Man, most of these movies, they want to do 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm like, man,
you're
really overdoing that shit,
And see, again, to mention our friend Friday Night Albert, he was like, I think it would have worked better as a show. And I was like, I didn't really ask him why, but I was like, I thought it was fine.
I think if it was a show, it would drag out too much.
Yeah, because then you've got like probably more exposition, more talking. This is good. They tightened it down.
People don't know how to do 10 episode shows. Like, it's 10 episodes. You should make every episode really fucking impactful. But man, these guys wait until like almost the third or fourth episode to fucking start getting going.
Like, let's be honest, Double A, we both like the Agatha, right? But it didn't need all those episodes.
It really didn't,
because they went through the same tropes every episode. I was like, okay, we get it. You're going through the thing, whatever. Yeah. And we're not saying that we don't have an attention span for it. I'm like,
no, it's not. Like it's 10. They took away the 23. There was a reason why 23, 24 episode seasons. There were some filler episodes. You're getting 10. You're getting a budget. Like, you should make each of those episodes really fucking impactful, really action oriented. You know what I mean?
Right. So,
like, not be Phantom Menace for like 4 episodes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, exactly. Look, I felt like it introduced what it had to introduce. We'd already had a lot of setup from the show.
Yeah, you already know Ross. You already know Anthony Mackie, Falcon. You already know his character. You knew he's going to be Cap. You already knew, the leader story. If you did follow, you know what happened to Samuel Stearns.
Right.
You know what I mean? You saw, like I said, you saw Ross keep getting higher and higher in the government. You saw that. The president, okay, cool. He's the president now. You know what I mean? All that was already there. The Celestial. Finally, they answered the Celestial shit.
Right. Like if you didn't see Eternals, you're like, where did this come from? He's like, watch Eternals. I mean, like, if you needed a reason to watch it.
So they finally answered that. They finally, said this whole bastard made out of adamantium.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Now you're introducing, something brand new now. So that's pretty cool.
A lot of cool stuff in that respect. And I felt like the pacing was good. We got to see a little costume change. So, Cap puts on a new costume, whatever. Again, too, he's kind of initially like, his determination is like, man, I got to look after my friend Isaiah. I got to clear his name and protect. And in doing that too, uncovering, hey, there's a bunch of other shit going on here that's involving the president.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish he could have busted it, or I wish they could have got Isaiah to the fight.
Yes,
that would have been really cool if they had got both of them, like a super soldier with Mackie.
There was a little bit of me that you wanted to kind of see him put the headband on and maybe have that pointed shield.
I think even me and my brother thought he was at one time, but I was kind of like, oh man, they didn't let him go out.
It would have been cool too, because I mean, how many more times are you going to get that guy back to kind of do the role of the Isaiah role? You know what I mean? But I thought his acting was fantastic, man. What's his name again?
Carl Lumbly. Which
Carl
also
Lumbly,
is. I didn't even know until seeing him. He was the voice of Martian Manhunter during the Justice League. So I was like, oh, badass,
Great actor. He had such a good faces that emoted that I felt like his pain. There was a couple times I got emotional in the
like when he gets busted. It's like, man, you feel like
because he's really
he's like, I knew I should have stayed home.
Yeah,
like,
that feeling, right? And then when he's like, he tells you before, right, that's the suit he got married in. And when they're kind of manhandling him, like, I mean, damn, it made me upset. You know what I mean? And even Sam is like, he's like, hey, take it easy. Like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like,
you can't really take it easy, honestly, because he's a super soldier.
But he's not resisting.
I know he's not resisting, but you got to be like, oh, shit, this motherfucker, if he wanted to, you can just
run away.
Us.
Yeah, he'll fucking just run off. Yeah. But then, too, he's concerned about it. So he's like, please, my suit or whatever. You're kind of like, fuck, man. Like, it just makes you feel something, which, again, I'm all in on that.
There's really, but again, you're going to be like, shit, this guy. To a lot of people, he tried to assassinate the president.
You know what I mean? Exactly. But yeah. Real quick, Ghost 7. I didn't mention this show also, but I finished it as well, and it was great. So anyone hasn't watched Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, give it a go. He says, I just finished Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Extremely good. Next to spectacular romantic interest, freakish shoulders. Oh, it's funny. Her shoulders were broader than a football player.
What's a romantic? Is it somebody name or is it a new character?
A new character. Yeah, her name is Pearl, I believe. Yeah, there's several new characters in this show, and then there's several characters that are, if you don't know who they were, some of them I didn't know. Really? They're calling them by their name, and I'm like, I didn't know that's who that was or whatever. And then like throughout the series, and they're like, I think we're gonna call you this, and you're like, oh, that's who that is. And I was like, it's fun. It's really fun. Double A. Like, trust me, I think you're gonna enjoy it. I have heard nothing but good things. But yeah, so it's great. I mean, if you want to go see something fun and you're a fan of Marvel movies, you will not be disappointed.
I say something really good. It's 2 hours. I mean, it holds you, and Harrison Ford again really fucking shine.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
He was great. He does a good job. He does a lot of emotions himself with his faces.
That part where he's talking to Betty too, and he mentions, I'm trying to have my relationship with my daughter, and it's hard. And you're like, oh wow, Betty, we haven't heard about Betty in a
long fucking time.
And that's great too. How about that, Double A? It wasn't heavy-handed with the salting in the cameos. It was like it gave you some really cool things.
It kind of showed you where everyone was at.
Yeah, but it wasn't like heavy-handed where it was like you needed. This big cameo in like an action sequence, for instance. You don't need Bucky to run in and be the Winter Soldier. It was like what you got was good for what it was. You know what I mean? Like you're happy to see him because of Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? But he didn't need to have like an action sequence. I was glad they let it be Anthony Mackie, be Sam Wilson, Cap, because that's how he's going to be Cap. You know what I mean? Like he can't be Cap. With
you can't keep
always having help. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he did a really good job, and
And then, Julie, I thought they killed the new Falcon at one point in the Celestial fight. I thought it was a Maverick Goose thing, and I was like, oh no! I was like, my heart was like, no. I was like, man, please don't let him die. I was like, because I don't know that character's story in the comics, so I was like, man, if they killed the Mexican Falcon, I'll be fucking crushed, man.
That was really good though. He was really good. He was good in his job.
Yeah, he does great too at I mean, I don't want to call him a sidekick, but
no, he is.
But yeah, admitting that.
I mean, that's exactly what he would say.
I want to get out there with you. I want to get out, and I want to be, I want to be a partner. And I think that's kind of too. Sam kind of knows that because he's like, well, I'm not super powered like
that's his thing, on your left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But dude, the Wakandan wings were fucking awesome. As I knew they were charging up power as Hulk's hitting him, and then I love too. Of course, like I said, Anthony Mackie got a little bit more loose in this. And I mean, the jokes like, I knew I should have taken that damn serum. I told Bucky was wrong. I was like, dude, when you're fighting that, when he was going up against Red Hook, Double A, I was like, he's fucked. I was like, he better just.
Too. I was like,
he is fucked.
Those wings aren't gonna hold up.
Now I know Red Hulk's not supposed to be as strong as Hulk, but is he? Yeah. So that's fucking scary as fuck.
Because in the comics he kills Abomination real easy.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Damn. R.I.P. Abomination. You have that comic?
Will does.
Oh,
we bought all those.
Nice. But yeah, guys, if you want to see something, you've been hating on Marvel, you've been thinking Marvel's lost it. Bucky's movie. I should have taken that serum. Yeah, love that, Pedro Lopez. Dude, that's such a good part, man. And again, I walked. There was lots of parts where I was smiling, lots of parts I had fun. I felt for Isaiah. It was great acting. Isaiah Harrison and
man, there's that part too, man. When Harrison Ford, like when Leader's talking to him.
Oh yeah,
almost gonna fucking Hulk out.
Oh,
you're like,
man.
You can feel that.
Yeah, and then you're thinking like, man, they're on a fucking boat. I was like, they are so, dude. I even felt it Double A when the Stearns uses his power, Leader uses his power, and those two planes go off and they start shooting at the Japanese. I was like, that's it, we're at war. I was like, we're at fucking war.
I thought so too.
I was like, we are so. How do you back off that? It's like Other countries, like, man, what? Fucking some big brain guy, big green head guy. You're telling me that's bullshit. We're at fucking war, and I was like, we are so fucked. And it's like I like to feel that when I'm at a movie. I like to be involved and invested in the story, where I'm like, come on. And then again, too, we knew Red Hulk was coming, but they give him to you at the end, and they give him to you in a way too where you're like, you feel like Sam is fighting for his life. I'm like, boy, get out of there. I'm like, I almost was thinking, I was like, is somebody going to show up? Because he needs help. Yeah. Like, I was like, he did some cool shit, but I was like, man, he needs help. Because I was like, fuck, he didn't have Falcon at that point because he's hurt. You know what I mean? Like, Bucky's off the campaigning. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, there's nobody. We don't have no numbers. Nobody on speed dial to call. I was like,
gone.
Dude, they're off world, man. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me, what do I say? AA, would I buy it? Would I watch it again? Absolutely. And I really feel like this is going to be one AA that's going to be more fun rewatching.
Yeah,
I really feel like that because
it was a good first movie to you know kind of start off this whole new wave, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think so, and I think that Sam Wilson Cap, Anthony Mackie Cap is going to be a great leader of the Avengers.
And then of course the post credits is talking about the multiverse again.
Right.
Everyone coming.
Yeah, so that's kind of
getting ready again for the Secret Wars.
Right. I mean, we all know that that's coming. Once they drop all the names, because we know that things are coming. So you kind of got to set it up.
Because it's weird, but so many people want Miles Teller back.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic, but as a maker.
Oh, the evil one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah. That's wow. Yeah, that would be a good twist for his version of Mr. Fantastic.
But it's kind of funny because
he's actually young looking compared to the other ones.
I was telling AA guys that I was like, man, why couldn't they have brought Sam Elliott back as Ross? I mean, like, don't get me wrong, Harrison Ford's fantastic, but I mean, like, he was Ross, but in another, universe. I'm not saying have him be a multiversal Ross, just have him like switch over from the William Hurt role.
Yeah.
John Hurt, different actor. But yeah. Again, guys, I'd say if you ask me, was it good? Go see it. When I go watch it again, or somebody hadn't seen it and wanted to go see it, I'd go see it again. If my nephew wanted to go see it, I'd go watch it. It comes out on Disney. I'm going to watch it again because I thought it was fucking a good time. It was fun. It was badass. It wasn't heavy-handed. And, I mean, again, I felt like I was like, this is like a good Marvel movie. Like, this
really
was one of the better ones.
It was very solid movie. And again, for those that don't remember, I mean, remember the first wave, they weren't all gems.
Nope. No, they really weren't.
There's a lot of fucking stingers in that first wave.
And a lot of those I don't own and I don't rewatch.
The only thing I think people love about those movies is that it was all connected.
Yeah.
It was like you got a piece of what the incoming shit was coming. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, man, do you remember that part? Like, I remember most people talking about more of the post credits than the actual movie a lot of times.
You know I heard that with this season. I heard some people complain. They're like, oh, the post credit scene kind of sucked. I was like, what did you want? Like, we already know Thunderbolts is coming. We already know that Fantastic Four. It's like, well, how much do you want to show in the post-credit scene? Like,
and then somebody already broke down that Fantastic Four trailer that they show Reed's already working on the fucking hose that they're going to
mix in. Yeah. I mean, so I was like, that's a lot. You know what I mean? I was like, you can't give too much. I mean, like,
remember the first one in Iron Man? It was just Samuel Jackson coming in,
right? Yeah,
Avengers.
And you say the Avengers, you're like, ooh, like, yeah. So this guy's mentioning. So I mean, we already like. How much more do you want right now than you already know? We already know like a bunch of shit's coming. You know what I mean? So it's totally a great movie.
It was like I said, it was 2 hours. It's really good. I mean, if you want to wait, just wait a little bit. But I recommend you seeing it.
Yeah, I think it's worth seeing in theater. In fact, I'd go back to see it in IMAX because I think that it really rock in IMAX too. So yeah, I liked it a lot. What else we got here? Darth Vader 94 says, "Can you join my live?" I don't think we can do that from here, Darth Vader 94. But when I get offline, if you drop your channel name, I mean, I'll go check it out on my own. We're getting ready to wrap this one up here. Anything else, Double A, that you want to?
I mean, check it out. It was good. Like I said, it's good, a really good, solid start off movie again for the new wave that's going to be happening. So
yeah, and although we gave you spoilers right now in this plot wise, whatever, we left a lot out so that way you could watch it. Yeah. We don't want to take you through the paces of the whole 2 hours because then what's the point of seeing it? But there is a lot of fun things, a lot of good jokes, a lot of interactions that felt that make it worth your time for sure. Yeah. A great popcorn movie. It felt like it could have been a summer movie, right? I was like, I would have watched this in the summer and enjoyed it. There we go. Our good friend John, the Everyday Collector, says, hey gents, happy Friday. Happy Friday, John. We appreciate you. John, let us know if you have a collectors club tonight, because after this you guys can go check out John and the statue crew do their thing. I got nothing else, Double A. Really. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it's been great to be back after a week off of Valentine's Day. We totally expect to be back next week, pending life happening or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna talk Cobra Kai, the end, the wrap up. I can't wait to have the discussion with Double A because again, I laughed, I cried.
That's good.
It was
just
great.
Perfect.
It was a really perfect ending, and talk about a perfect show. I was like, wow, this show just stayed consistently good.
It really did.
So we'll talk about that with you guys next week. And yeah, that's it. Something that we like to say, guys, before we end every show is we like to remind you all if there's something that you want to do, something that you want to accomplish, a hope, a dream, no time like the present, right? Double A, go out and do it, guys. Seize the day.
I actually show my daughter that part, actually.
Nice.
I tells them that.
Yeah. You think she could watch the whole movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Dead Poet Society, guys. Great watch. But yeah, Carpe Diem, seize the day, guys. I think that goes all the way back to like Socrates or Plato or something like that.
Stay safe.
Yes, it's St. Pedro Lopez. Appreciate you, brother. And stay warm if you're in a place that's cold right now.
It should be.
It
should be everywhere.
It should be everywhere. Right, yeah. And the other thing we'd like to say, speaking of Captain America, we'd like to quote the great Captain America Steve Rogers version in Avengers Endgame before the Avengers go back on the time heist when he lets all the Avengers know that they must do whatever it takes, guys. Sometimes you will have to do whatever it takes when you're trying to accomplish that dream and that goal. So guys, seize the day, do whatever it takes. I'm CM Chuck.
I'm Double A.
And we are Just Another Friday Night, San Antonio's premier pop culture podcast with P Breaks live on Fridays, coming to you on YouTube and Facebook Live. Guys, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Good night.